Hello, Minnesota. Data here, and welcome back to episode 11 of the Minnesota Wild franchise mode here in the middle of the 2022-23 regular season. And we stopped in the month of February at a record of 22, 24, and 6 in the last one. We had a lot of questions before we took a little pause for the Christmas break. I hope that all of you had a fantastic Christmas and that you are all enjoying the holiday season with your family. I know I am. That's why the uploads are going to be a little more spread out over the next week or so until we get back into the groove of things in 2021. But here we are, a little holiday episode, found some time, let's get to it. So as said in the intro, we are 22, 24, and 6 to begin season number 3 here in Minnesota. A bit weird, a lot of problems with the coaching, the line chemistry, the goaltending especially, and we have run into quite a roadblock here. The good news is we have had some good growth this season, from Matthew Boldy up to an 82, Marco Rossi up to an 82, and we've had good performances from other players such as Zach Parise, who's at an 85 at the age of 38. The lines are really weird compared to what we had at the beginning of the season, so this is not what we've been running with for the course of this season. You may be saying, oh, well, I know what your problems are. Lindholm and Parise are on the third line. No, that's not it. Don't worry about it. If you have not watched the last episode, we did a lot of experimenting with the lines. Mike Hoffman coming back up to the NHL, as well as Nino Niederreiter ended up becoming more of a healthy scratch due to his not performing because the line chemistry was not quite a fit on the third line as it was supposed to be, since we ended up getting a new coach after he who shall not be named walked. So Leon Botter was another big issue, our crown jewel prospect. 1 goal, 1 assist, negative 13 in 27 games. We're thinking, do we send him down? What do we do? And between the pipes, Elvis and Cal Peterson, both letting in over 3 goals per game with sub 900 save percentages, so there's not much to say about that. So let's hop right into the suggestions. I know that a lot of you were starting off the Christmas break, doing exams and all that, so sweat it if you didn't get in your suggestions. We still have time for next season, as we'll go up to the end of this one, hopefully leading up to the playoffs. But we definitely do want to be making a push for the playoffs. And that wasn't always something that we were sure of. Brahma Bullfan here saying, pack it in and regroup. This is not looking like a playoff team. I'd look to move expiring deals. We don't have any, thankfully, actually. Elvis has to leave the building. Need a better tendy. Who is coming up in goaltending in the free agent class? We'll check that out. I don't think anyone on the block for goalies is your answer. Pretty much it was just Tristan Jarry. I don't think scratching Botter was the way to go. Let him play top pair in the AHL? Question mark. Anyways, buddy, thanks for the series again. Merry Christmas, buddy. Thank you, Brahma Bullfan. The same to you. I hope that you enjoyed it. And now, Brahma Bullfan says here, pack it up and everything. I was thinking, it sounds good to me. Let's pack it up, try again next year. But then there was another comment here, actually over in the Discord server. Link in the description if you want to join the Discord server, from Dank EA Servers. I think we know who that is. If you're part of the channel community over on the Discord server, we know who that is in the comments sections on YouTube. But I was going to say tank this season, but I remember the Sergachev move. Tough break. Try to squeak in the playoffs to avoid giving Tampa a good pick. Maybe get a new second line centerman that fits. So it's not actually the first round pick to the Tampa Bay Lightning. As you'll see over here on Tampa Bay, their first round pick this year, they don't have anything from us. They picked with our first round pick last year. The first round pick that we made last year was actually from, I believe, the Philadelphia Flyers, who we traded. We traded this year's first round pick for last year's first round pick. We basically just made a first round pick swap. We threw in like a fourth or a third or something, and that allowed us to select Mika Tarki at the 8th overall selection, which turned out to be a good move for sure, as he is 18 years old, 75 overall, down in the AHL, 6 goals, 19 assists, -1. He's growing fine enough over there. So anyways, that's why we don't have a first round pick, not because of Sergachev, but regardless, we don't have a first round pick, and we don't want to be giving a good top 10 or even a lottery selection to Philadelphia. So going back to what Brahma Bullfan said as well about check the free agency class for upcoming goaltenders, pending free agents right there. If we go look at goaltenders who may be coming up, obviously a lot of these guys are probably going to get signed, but some of them could slip into free agency. Ilya Samsonov, Ben Bishop, all these guys seem to be unrestricted as well. I don't think any of these guys would be restricted free agents. Maybe DiPietro here, but aside from that, all the big names would all be unrestricted. So if we could snatch up a guy like Demko, or I don't know, I guess we could get Jerry now, but if we get Demko or Samsonov in free agency, that would be great. Bishop getting old. We had Demko in Buffalo Buffalo for a bit. Everyone else is a bit too old, I think, or not high enough in overall. These guys have nice potential here, Gustafsson and Blackwood. But I don't know, I am tempted to go after Tristan Jarry here in a trade. He's on the block for the Bruins, has good numbers, might be the answer for us, but we'll revisit that when we get into more trade talk. O. Henry here talking about the coaching, so I'll go over to the coaching staff. He says the coach's ratings affect how the team plays. I would recommend demoting the head coach to associate and sign someone for a year who has better ratings, solid ratings. Let that head coach, now associate coach, so we're talking about Wisniewski here, grow a bit and get his ratings up, and then next year promote him back to head coach. Good vid. I like that suggestion. And then I followed up by saying, would you still make that suggestion if you knew that it would give us a hit on the chemistry? And he says, I think I would. I would rather have a whole lineup of +1s and a good record versus just a few +3s and a bad record. Just something to consider. So that's definitely a true point here. The ratings affect the team, and Wisniewski's ratings aren't great when it comes to everything except teaching and coach influence. C or C- for offense, defense, power play, and penalty kill. Meanwhile, we do have Robichaud here, who's B-, B-, A+, and A's everywhere else. So instead of even hiring another coach, we could just swap Wisniewski and Robichaud, because we know that Robichaud has a good team fit already. And I do like that idea. It would give us a bit of a hit on the chemistry, but it would probably make us simulate a little bit better. Wisniewski has the 69% team fit, I believe. No, 66 now. I think we made some changes. But here's the thing. I like that idea, but I want to see how some of these trades work out, because I have a trade in mind that I want to make for a guy who seems to fit the chemistry according to our scouts. We'll see how he fits in the chemistry with Wisniewski and with Robichaud, and we'll revisit this potential swap in personnel a little bit later. So back into trade talk here. Josh Grandy says, personally, I would trade Hunter Jones for the Vegas Golden Knights goalie prospect, who's a 78 overall, add late picks if necessary. Seems like a good young prospect. That was a guy that we were looking at last episode, who we'll touch on soon. As for the starter, it's hard to move on from Elvis's contract. It's very good, 5 years at 3.5. But if his play doesn't improve, a guy like Robin Lehner looks good as well. He did look good, Robin Lehner, but his trade value has gone up significantly since the last time we looked at him. So I like trading Elvis. I like that idea, but I'm not sure if Lehner, I think that has just too much trade value for us to get it done. Mikey here starts off by throwing us some Star Trek references. We love next-gen Star Trek references here in the comments. Keep those coming. Now we need to go get a goalie. Definitely Elvis has to leave the building. He is done, and you definitely need to shake up the lineup somehow. But I know you will turn it around, Data, the #1 GM in the market. Happy holidays to you and your family, Mikey. Thanks so much. Kind words and kind wishes. Same to you and yours, my friend. And now the last comment here, coming from Apo Haikila. Tough season. You should try to find a new #1 goalie, because neither Pettersson or Elvis is giving you the numbers that you need. Also, I know Botter is having a bad season, but he is still your most promising defenseman prospect, so I would play him in the top 2 lines so he could grow. This might be the year where you miss the playoffs, but next season the Wild will come back better than ever. And then I followed up by saying, if we made a goaltending change, would you suggest Jarry? Apo says Jarry's a good choice. He usually simulates pretty well, although I have seen a few cases where he hasn't been that good. Usually a solid 900 goalie, which is what we need right now. So thank you everyone for those suggestions. We took a So here's the first deal that I'm thinking about, my friends. I think we need to make a change on defense. If we go to look at overall here, we got Sergachev and Suter. Well, actually, we got Suter and Murray on that first pair. Suter's starting to go down. Sergachev's going to be that #1 guy soon. If it's the first pair, if it's the second pair, no problems. Leon Botter is the future. You know, something like Botter and Tarky, Botter and Sergachev, one of those pairs for the top will be the future. We went out and traded for some depth last episode as we moved John Merrill for Eric Johnson, a new third pair guy. He was supposed to fit the third pair. He only fits the second pair. Maybe some coaching changes would fix that, but he has been solid ever since he came here. He's just going to be on a 1-year expiring deal for us, so Eric Johnson is here. Calvin DeHaan, though, I haven't been sold on him. Offensive defenseman with 7 points and a -9 in 52 games. I would really love to get something going with Ryan Suter on the top pair, as he's a defensive defenseman, and get an offensive defenseman to play with him for a +5. Murray and Sergachev can play on the second pair, maybe get a 0 or a +1, and then, I don't know, Botter and and Johnson on the third pair, or Botter gets sent down. We signed someone in free agency. Capobianco has been playing a lot, actually. 44 games, -5. So really, I just want to try and get something better for the defense going, because we know Suter's going to move on eventually, but Sergachev and Botter are really going to be here a long time. Murray, I think he's going to be here a long time as well. I like him very much. He has 4 years on his deal. So here's what I'm thinking over from the St. Louis Blues. On the Blues, Torrey Krug is on the block. He is 87 overall, 31 years of age, on a bad team right now with a -16, 27 points, -33 last season, only 30 points, but look at this first season on a better team. He scored 50 points. He has the ability, he has the potential, he has the 91 offensive awareness, 4.5-star defense, 5-star puck skills, 4-star skating, all the good stuff that you're looking for. $6.5 million contract is not bad for a guy who's going to be playing first pair, not at all. Signed for 5 more years. That deal might hurt us later on, but we can always just trade him. I wouldn't mind getting Torrey Krug for another few seasons, at least for maybe like 2 more until Suter retires. I don't know, but either way, an offensive defenseman for your top pair is always going to be good for chemistry, especially if Botter is going to be playing with him someday. Justin Falk is also on the block on the same deal, a year younger, 3 overall less. He's probably even better defensive defenseman, as he is on 30 points in 53 games this season, but he doesn't fit any of the coaching scheme, unfortunately. So I think I'd rather go for Torrey Krug, and here's the deal that I'm going to try to pull to make it happen. First piece that I want to move is Nino Niederreiter. We don't need him anymore. We signed him for the third line because of chemistry fit. Then our head coach went to the Coyotes. He doesn't fit anymore. 4 years of $4 million for a guy who scored 4 goals in 34 games, a sniper. That's not what we need. So Niederreiter, we have no more use for you because we called back up Mike Hoffman, and we just want to give you a fresh start somewhere else. Next, we could also trade a defenseman with Torrey Krug coming in. I wouldn't mind trading Calvin DeHaan. He's on an expiring deal. We're not going to be keeping him anyways. He hasn't been great. Let's also give him a fresh start over on the Blues, and he'll maybe get re-signed over there, and he can just live out his days on that team. Now, we don't have the we don't have the value just quite yet with that. I don't want to trade my second this season and only have a third. We do have our first next season, so I'd be more inclined to trade my second from 2024, and that does get the value quite close when we do Niederreiter, DeHaan, and next year's second-round pick for Torrey Krug. I don't like cheesing the system for guys who don't really want to get moved, but hey, if the team is failing and he's on the block, I am more than happy to give you whatever you are looking for, St. Louis. So with that second-round pick, it says we're quite far off in trade value. I think I'd be okay with just throwing in a third and making this happen. I think that would be enough. A second and a third next year. We can always regain draft picks later on next season as long as we still have our first. It hurts to lose a second and a third, but for Torrey Krug, I think it's worth it. I'm going to stop the preamble. I'm just going to hit proposed trade. What do you say, St. Louis? Trade rejected, quite far off in value. Really? I didn't think it was that far off. It would probably just take another prospect to make it go through. I don't want to move any of these guys, really. Maybe Hunt? I don't know. What kind of more than 45 skaters? Now, it has to be somebody unsigned then. Only guy unsigned here is Raquel. We could throw in Raquel, Robert Raquel, a sniper. Oh yeah, it's true. We wanted to get him in the third round. Then Calgary got him. We traded them our third-round pick to get him back. Oh, we really worked hard to get Robert Raquel. He has 16 points in 33 games in the SHL. That's good. But if it's going to make the deal happen, I'll do it. If they say no deal to this, we'll have to really rethink it. But if they accept this, trade accepted. All right, that's all it needed. They wanted Robert Raquel, and it made it happen. Okay, thank you, St. Louis. Nino, I'm sorry. Calvin, I'm sorry. But Torrey Krug, let's get excited. Welcome to Minnesota, Torrey. We're pushing for the playoffs. We're pushing to be good long-term. I think that was a strong move for us. I think that was a strong move. So I'm going to fix up some lines, and we'll be back in a second with another idea. So also on the block, we're looking at other moves. There were some really, really interesting names like David Pastrnak over here on the block from the Boston Bruins, but just too much trade value. We're not going to be able to get that done. I don't know how he's on the block. I'm sure there'll be a big blockbuster that happens, but we don't have the ability to get David Pastrnak unless we were going to trade one of our top prospects. And I'm happy with our defensive prospect pool. I don't want to trade those guys. And if it wasn't them, it would be a big forward name who's already in the NHL. There are no rookies that we'd be able to move aside from like Tarky. So I don't want to do that. I don't think it's going to happen. But also on the Bruins is Tristan Jarry. We've been talking about him. He doesn't have a lot of value. 84 overall. He seems to always sim well here in these franchise modes on NHL 20, NHL 21. He's 25, 15, and 1 with 1 shutout, a 918 save percentage, and 2.35 goals against average. Really nice numbers. You can't deny that. Elvis now. Elvis, making 3.5 for the next 5 years. In theory, we could trade Cal Peterson and some other pieces to get Tristan Jarry. But do I want to trade my 83 overall, making 0.85 for the next 3 years? I don't know. I'd rather move Elvis, even though he signed on a good contract. I don't think I can afford to be paying like $8 million for my 2 goalies when one of them is just not good. I'd rather keep Cal, hope that he turns it around as a backup because he has the ability to do so. He was a good backup for us last season, even though he didn't do much for us last season. But to be honest, after those 8 games that he played, he hasn't really done much. In the playoffs, he wasn't great, and this season he's 7-12-4. I don't know. Can I chalk that up to defensive woes? I'd rather take a risk on keeping Peterson than taking a risk in keeping Elvis and moving that great contract of Cal Peterson. So if I were to move Elvis to the Boston Bruins over to the Eastern Conference, maybe we could regain some draft picks after we just moved those to St. Louis. They don't want to move anything this year, but maybe next season. So maybe a 4th and a 5th from this year's draft, and then you throw in the 3rd and a 5th from next year's draft, in total giving us a 3rd, a 4th, and 2 5ths. Would that go through? I think that's a pretty fair deal. They get a goalie who signed long-term on a good contract who can be their starter. I don't know why they have Pasternak and Jarry on the block when they're 30, 22, and 2. I guess it's just because they're expiring deals. But what do you say to this, Boston? Value's not there whatsoever. Okay, let me try taking out the 2 5ths. We just do a 3rd and a 4th with Tristan Jarry. Still quite far off in value. Really? I think the value is really there. It's just that they don't have a desire for Elvis. Unless I were to just take the later picks, but I guess I could try to pick up a prospect instead. Or even some defensive depth for us. Carson Soucy. Oh, Carson Soucy. Maybe he could come home. Fits all deep pairings, expiring deal. He has 6 points and a +6 in 51 games. We love Carson Soucy. I didn't feel good when I traded him away. I felt bad, but I wanted to give him a chance in the NHL since he was being buried in Iowa. But now might be a perfect time to bring him home to Minnesota. Let's do it. Carson Soucy and Tristan Jarry. The value's still in our favor by a lot, but I don't think the computer sees it that way. So we could try throwing in 2 5th-round picks and see what they say to that. Boston, what do you say? Still trade rejected. 1 5th-round pick, trade accepted. All right, with 1 5th, it goes through. So Tristan Jarry, new starting goaltender. We got Carson Soucy back on defense. All is well in the world, and we throw in a 5th-round pick just to give us a little smile in the draft. So let's fix the rosters once again, and we'll go to the 3rd and final trade. So last deal that we're looking at over with the Vegas Golden Knights, Juho Markkanen, 20 years old, 78 overall, medium starter potential, a 4th-round pick in 2020 by the LA Kings, a pretty solid goalie in real life. In the AHL at the moment, he is 14, 16, and 3, not a great record, but look at those numbers, 922 save percentage and a 2.24 goals against average for a losing record. That's pretty solid. Plus, he's 20 years old, 78 overall, has almost no trade value, 3 years left on his deal. He could easily replace Cal Peterson in a year or two as our backup. We thought that was going to be Hunter Jones, but Hunter Jones, he's 1 overall less and 2 years older. So this just becomes a business transaction here. We love Hunter Jones. He was a 2nd-round pick by our organization in 2019, but the numbers speak for themselves. You know, the guy is just better in terms of those overalls. But again, we got to go a bit deeper into the stats now. He's 26, 18, and 2, 5 shutouts, 910 save percentage, 2.32 goals against average. I don't know if I see a reason to really trade Hunter Jones. So then it becomes maybe we trade somebody else. We could definitely trade Baribeau, and Jones and Markkanen could just duel it out in Iowa. We could also throw in an unsigned goalie prospect, low backup. We have Jonas Cook, a 7th-round pick in 2022. Not bad at all. We don't want to trade Wallstedt or Morozov because they could be the future for us. We're trying to see who's going to work out there. So I would be perfectly down with trading Baribeau and Cook to the Vegas Golden Knights to try and get Markkanen here. I don't think that's going to be even close to going through. Hugely inflated by your scout and doesn't meet our block needs while we don't have Fog of War on. Obviously, we'll have to throw in some picks. That's okay with me. This year, we only have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 2 5ths, and a 7th. Next year, 1st, 4th, 5th, 7th, not ideal either. Maybe we can move that 5th-round pick that we just got from Boston. Actually, we can move ours. What do you say to this? Isn't sufficient at all. Try our 5th this season, and then a 5th in a couple years as well. That's a really fair deal for you, Vegas. There we go. Sweet proposal on our end. Could have gotten it for cheaper, but didn't want to cheese the system too much. So you get a goalie to play for you now, you get a goalie prospect, and you get 2 5th-round picks. Thank you very much, Vegas. That's going to be nice for our goaltending system. We don't know who's going to work out, but someone's trade bait and someone's going to be playing, and it works out either way. What happened here? Why would you do that? Markkanen goes down. Peterson comes up. Perfect. Let's fix up the lines and see how we're going to look moving into the second half of the season. All right, so in the NHL, we could move around the forwards, but we're not sure about that yet. We're going to have to see when we fix up the coaching for the chemistry. At the moment, for defensive chemistry, just as I thought, +5 on the first pair, wonderful. Suter's playing like a 91, Krug like a 92. That could be lethal. Second pair, Murray and Sergachev with a +1, easily the best second pair D in the NHL. Third pair, Soucy and Johnson. Soucy fits everywhere, which is beautiful, and Johnson doesn't really fit, but I'd rather have Soucy and Johnson with a 0 than Soucy and Capobianco with a +1, because either way it's 80 and 81, just with a 0 or a +1, no matter how you slice it. So for defensive depth, I'd like to keep Capobianco, and I think send down Leon Botter to give him first line minutes down in Iowa. It might stunt his growth, it might hurt him, but it would be better than getting carved up and eaten like a Christmas turkey on that third pair with that -13 at the moment. So I think I'm going to send down Leon Botter. And then from there, we're going to see how the chemistry looks with Rabichaud as head coach. Jerry starting, Peterson backing up, Iowa, Jones, and Markkanen. They'll be a fantastic tandem down there. And I'm going to send Botter as well. So Botter coming into the Iowa lineup here. If we play him with Addison, it's a +5. That's crazy. 86 overall playing down there. Tarky can play on the second unit with McCoshen, and everyone is happy. +5, +3. Iowa's going to just kill it this season. I'll fix the special teams later on, but let's check out how the coaching would be if we switch things around. So 3 big deals here in the start of February. Things weren't going right. The management decided that we had to make moves, and that is exactly what we did. That's what we get paid the big bucks for. I can just demote Levasseur, or I can demote Lautner to AHL goalie coach for a moment. Okay, that's fine. Or even I didn't even have to do it that way. But Rabichaud as interim head coach for a moment. Wisniewski can be the associate coach, and then Lautner can go back to being NHL goalie coach. That gives us 81% staff chemistry, which is nice. Our lineup, okay, not much difference. Just a +1 on the third line now, which is cool. And okay, defense is the same, +5, +1, and 0. So you know what? I think we're going to go exactly with that. Special teams, not much different. Just I got to fix up the penalty kill here. But yeah, I think we'll go with that suggestion that was in the comments there. So we will try Rabichaud as head coach for this season. Hopefully Wisniewski can grow and be our head coach next season. But let's change the lines up a little bit as well at the special teams in the NHL and AHL, and then we're good to go. All right, we're all good to go here. In Iowa, +3, +3. Shaw's going to go to the top line. Defense, we got Botter, Addison, +5. Tarky, McCoshen, +3. We're flying. Special teams, +1, +1. Penalty kill, +5, 0. Beautiful. NHL, +1 and 0 on the penalty kill. We'll take that. Power play, +1, +3. No problems there. And starting lineup will go +1, +3, +1, +1. Parise, Monahan, Kaprizov back up that top line. Hoffman with Lindholm and Greenway. Fiala, Rossi, and Boldy on the third line. I would prefer Hoffman on the third line so that Boldy or Fiala could get up to the second line, but it doesn't help chemistry as much. We'll keep that in mind if any changes need to come in. We're going to have Jerry starting with Peterson backing him up. We'll keep track of Jerry and Krug's stats now that they are on the big team. +5, +1, and 0. Soucy and Johnson on that third pair. Scratches Capobianco and Alex Steen. Steen yet to play a game for us yet. Capobianco has been playing quite a bit. Soucy and Johnson kind of superseding him for the third pair minutes. So let's see how these changes do for us. We are like 5-3, 5-4-1 in our last 10 games. It starts off with a very difficult opponent in the Philadelphia Flyers, who are 33-15-4 at the Wells Fargo Center. Let's kick off part 2 of the season. It's been enough. Let's just get it over with. Let's show the world that we still have the passion and the ability to get it done with the new look Minnesota Wild. Few new names in the lineup. First period, 1-0 Philly. Joel Farabee on Tristan Jarry. That's all right. Second period, 2-2. All right. Marco Rossi and then Elias Lindholm on the power play past Carter Hart. PK Subban, though, the man also on the trade block, scores Philadelphia's second of the night. We are tied at 2, shots 22-13, and Torrey Krug, in his first game as a Minnesota Wild member, gets the go-ahead goal, and then Jordan Greenway puts us up by 2. Here we are. Then JVR, though, comes right back, and the lead is cut to 1. Power play once more. Late in the third, it is killed off, being outshot 29-19, but we hold the 1-goal lead with under 5 to go. Late power play for the Flyers. We kill it off, and that will be enough for the victory for the Minnesota Wild. Game-winning goal going to Jordan Greenway. A huge goal from Torrey Krug coming 15 seconds into the third period. Look at him pinching deep right there in front of that. Whoa, hold on. What? Wait, hold on. Where's the net here in the third period? If JVR scored there, were there like 2 crazy goals here? Because if our net is green and the Philadelphia net is orange, then that means JVR scored behind his own blue line. So Krug would have scored from the opposite goal line. Greenway would have scored in front of the net. That's normal. And then JVR would have scored from the face-off dot almost of his own zone. That is twisted. Or it's the other way around. But even if it was the other way around, that means Greenway would have been scoring. If green is where we score, Greenway would have scored from the other side as well. So I think that's what it is, though. That JVR scored from his own zone and Krug scored from his own zone. So 2 wild third-period goals. Never seen 2 of those in one sim, I don't think. That is bonkers. But okay, we'll take the 4-3 win. We got outshot 34 to, 20? But one goal, 1 assist for Jordan Greenway gives him first star honors. Marco Rossi a goal and an assist, and PK Subban with that 1 goal as we take a big win against a formidable opponent in Tristan Jarry's debut and in Torrey Krug's debut. So now we go to Little Caesars Arena. We're 29-18-6. They are 29-18-6. We're 23-24-6. We're trying to get back to 500 here, and this would be the game to do it. I think Tristan Jarry's still in because goalie rotate is off, but either way, let's go for it here in Detroit. First period, 1-1 game. Yes, Tristan Jarry back in nets, and Mantha scores for them. Zach Parise scoring for us. So that's what it is. The red side is the side of that team. So we'd be scoring on red, and red would be scoring on green. So that's what it was last game in Philadelphia. That's crazy. But Zach Parise on Mike Smith. Let's go. Being outshot by triple, 15-5. Second period, no scoring. Shots 29-13. More than double heading into the third. But the game is tied at 1, and that's all that matters. Who's going to be the hero to put us up here in the third period? 5 minutes in, just keep getting blasted between the pipes here. 32-19 power play opportunity for us. It's an extended one late in the third, and Sean Monahan puts us up 2-1 on the power play. That might just be enough with under 5 to go. 35 shots for the Red Wings, and Tristan Jarry stands on his head, makes 35 saves on 36 shots, and the Minnesota Wild take it 2-1 the final thanks to a game-winning power play goal from Sean Monahan. Wow. Tristan Jarry, 35 saves and a .972 save percentage. Monahan second star. Mike Smith played well, but not well enough. Tristan Jarry, that is exactly what you want to start your career off on. 2 big wins against 2 tough opponents. And we're not done the Eastern Conference swing yet. We're playing another tough Eastern Conference opponent, the Sabres, who are 33-15-6. Let's do this game right here as well. Now we're at home, though, at the XL Energy Center. It's the home debut for Jarry and Krug. First period, 1-0. Kiefer Sherwood on that 4th line past Freddie Anderson. Beautiful. Second period, 3-1. Matthew Boldy and Kirill Kaprizov. Beautiful. Rasmus Dahlin scoring on Cal Peterson, who's getting the start tonight. 3-1 Wild heading into the third period. Up by 2 and make that up by 3 as Elias Lindholm makes it 4-1. But Grigorenko brings that lead back to 2. Says we still want to get our foot in the door here. They have 2 goals on 17 shots against Peterson. But Mike Hoffman says, nuh-uh, I don't think so. 5-2. That 3-goal lead is restored with just about 5 minutes to go now. And that'll be all she wrote. That is 3 straight victories. Grigorenko gets his second of the period, but not enough, as Marco Rossi adds another late in the game, even strength on Freddie Anderson, and we win 6-3 the final. Shots 34-21. Peterson not looking great. That's a sub 900 save percentage. But another good performance from Rossi, going a goal and an assist. Hoffman goal and an assist. Mikhail Grigorenko tried to get this team into it with 2 goals, but they were just not having it. So, wow. Let's go look at Tristan Jarry's numbers here. I know Cal Peterson wasn't great there, so we're going to put Jarry back in for the foreseeable future. But 3 games, 3 wins, 947 save percentage, 1.69 goals against average. The man simulates like a monster. And then over for Torrey Krug in those 3 games. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but 3 games, 1 goal, 1 assist, plus 3. Wonderful. So we're not going to go undefeated till the end of the season, but those trades coupled with the coaching swap, the head to the associate to the head, that seems to be doing wonders for us. So we're going to go to Denver Arena. We're finally over 500. We're 25, 24, and 6. We keep winning with the in-game simulations, so might as well keep it up here. First period, 3-0. My goodness. Let's just simulate in-game for the rest of the season. Kaprizov scores twice. Greenway throws in one of his own. One on the power play for Kaprizov as well. 3-0 after the first. Second period now. Oh, just right off the bat. Just Kaprizov, hat-trick. That should be like a trophy achievement. There used to be a trophy in FIFA. You score with your left, your right, and a header. Kaprizov scores even strength. Power play, and then shorthanded just 38 seconds into the period. There you go. Hat-trick after 20 minutes and 38 seconds. Bang. Hoffman one of his own. It is 5-0 Wild after 2 periods. Shots 19-18 for the Avalanche, but we're up 5-0 here in the in-game simulation. This is just bonkers. Shots tied at 21 at the moment. I don't know if Colorado has any desire in the tank, though. It has just been all Minnesota all game long. And let's just call it there. Donskoy broke the shutout, no problem. Fiala will throw one in to make it a 6-1 final. We only beat them by 1 shot, 34-33, but we outscore them 6-1. What a game. Hat-trick for Kaprizov, 4 assists for Mikhail Sergachev, and a 32 save performance from everyone's favorite Minnesota Wild, Mr. Tristan Jarry. Let's get it. Next game's up against the Chicago Blackhawks, who are 35-17-3. What's with all these tough opponents, but especially divisionally as well. But let's do it. They are 8-1-1 in their last 10. We are now 8-2-0, and on what, a 4-game win streak? Let's do it. Showtime. First period, 1-0. Mike Hoffman rekindling the fire within himself as he has found that magic from year number 1. Second period, nothing. Shots 22-14 in our favor, and Sean Monahan starts it off with a bang against Jordan Binnington, and then Kaprizov throws in one of his own. That first line is clicking just like year number 1. Let's go. 3-0. Duncan Keith cuts it 3-1 with about 10 minutes to go now. Power play, and Kaprizov throws in another special teams goal. This guy can do it all over the ice at any time that he desires. This guy is a goal machine. And Kevin Fiala, just for good measure, makes it 5-1. Not only are we are winning in convincing fashion. And hey, by the way, it's another 1 goal against night for Tristan Jarry. It's not even good enough to even make the 3 stars, because Torrey Krug got 4 assists. Kaprizov got 2 goals and an assist. Monahan got a goal and an assist. Sorry, Jarry. You only let in 1 goal. Not good enough. You should have got a shutout if you wanted one of the 3 stars. But that's okay. We'll forgive you. 50 points in 57 games for Sean Monahan. The Minnesota Wild are on an absolute tear as they have rediscovered the magic from that cup run in year number 1, and they are hungry. Let's go. Against the San Jose Sharks, we're still at home. We're just going to keep simulating in-game until we lose a couple in a row, because we're just going to keep, if it's working, we're not going to stop it. First period, 2-0. Hoffman Kaprizov. Second period, nothing. Let's go. Third period, up by 2, being outshot 21-18. Power play, San Jose killed off. Let's just fly through these nice and quick, because we might have to do a lot of these to get to the end of the season. 2-0, let's just call it a day. 2-1 the final. Nick Foligno adds 1. Jarry, if you could just let in 1 goal a game, that would be perfect. 34 saves on 35 shots. We got outshot 35-28. Before we were getting outshot 35-28, that means we lost like 4-1 or 5-1. Now we're winning 2-1 or even 5-2, for example, if we scored 2 goals. But Tristan Jarry's giving us that insurance. 34 save performance, first star of the night. 1 goal for Kaprizov, and hey, Torrey Krug, 2 apples for him. Let's just check Torrey Krug one more time. Torrey Krug, since coming to our team in 6 games, he has 1 goal, 7 assists, 8 points for a +7. The man's a machine. And actually, I forgot we should go check out the contract extension, what it would cost to get Tristan Jarry on this team. I totally forgot about Elvis. The guy's just been out of my mind ever since he went to Boston. I'd be curious to see his numbers at the end of the season. So Jarry does not want to extend, which means that we won't be able to do the 85% trick or anything like that. He wants a lot of money unless it's 6 years. 6 years, he wants 5.775. That's pretty crazy. Those are crazy numbers. We might have to end up paying that. Maybe we pay it, we sign him, then we trade him. But I'm going to wait and see if that goes down by the offseason or even just later in the season, because I'm not paying him like $6 million for an 84 overall. Even if he's playing fantastic, that's not enough to convince me, because the way things fluctuate here in franchise mode, cannot risk that. All right, we're 9-1-10 in our last 10 games. Let's do it here against the Colorado Avalanche. First period, 0-0. Second period, 0-0. Okay. Low shooting game here. Shot 16-9 heading into the third. Who's going to be the first one to break the stalemate? Power play killed off. For us, was killed off by the Avalanche. And Nathan MacKinnon. That's the first time we've been down ever since we made those trades. We're down 1-0 as Nate MacKinnon scored the lone goal against Tristan Jarry. Who's going to do it for Tristan? Let's go, boys. Who's got it late for Tristan? Who's going to pot it late? And oh my goodness. Oh, that is a tough one. Shots were 24-14. Huh? 1 goal on 14 shots against Jarry is all it took. We could not beat Yusei Saros, who we just destroyed last time we played him. Yikes. 24 save shutout for Saros. That was a weird one right there. We only let in 1, but we didn't score any. So you know what? We'll call it a wash. That's our first loss in a little bit, which breaks our winning streak of how many games? So it was a 7-game winning streak and 6-game winning streak since we made those trades. We had a 1 win before against the Blue Jackets. So, okay, all right, we'll do it. We'll take that. We got to take a loss once in a while, like we said, and 1-0 loss is not one to be ashamed of, as we're now going to be taking on the Dallas Stars, who are 34-20-6. Here we go. First period, 1-0 Dallas, Radek Faksa. Second period, okay, so this is where things are, you can't do it forever, right? Donato, Raquel, and Sagan. Yikes, we're down 4-0. Shots 21-20 for Dallas, but we're down by 4 in the third period. Is there going to be a comeback? If there is going to be one, we got to get it started, and soon. 5-on-3 power play. That's not how you want to do it. Halfway through the third, has to score a goal right now on the power play. Nope. All right. We get shut out in back-to-back games. What? Ben Bishop 30 save shutout as we get shut out in back-to-back games. All right. Against the Winnipeg Jets, who are 27-34-1. Now we can put in Cal Peterson. Come on, Cal. I'm believing in you. 891 save percentage. Let's go. I'm giving you a softball here. We haven't won in a couple games. Be the guy who gets us in the win column. Let's go. Against the Winnipeg Jets here at Bell MTS Place in the dead of February. It's a cold one. First period, 2-0 Jets. Great. Line A and Little. Second period, 4-0 Jets. We have not scored a goal in 8 periods. Vesalainen and Kempny scoring on Peterson. 4 goals on 20 shots. You're a joke, buddy. You're a joke. Maybe we do get a better backup goalie. I don't know. 4-0 here in the third period. Is anyone going to score a goal, or is it going to be 3 consecutive games of being shut out? Wow. 5-0. You guys want to be shut out? Just keep taking penalties. Good job, guys. There we go. Sergachev, thank goodness. Even though it was like 8.5 periods since we scored. Sergachev scores a lone goal against Calvin Pickard as well. It's not like it was a tough goalie. And Pionk adds another one with 14 seconds left just to disrespect us some more. All right, Cal Peterson, you're a sick disgrace to the game of hockey, and I don't know what I'm going to do with you. You are 83 overall, yet you play as if you don't know what a puck is. You got to keep those out of the net. 886 save percentage through 25 games, and a 3.25 goals against average. Yeah, Jarry's back in there. I'm going to put you in the trade block, and we'll see what happens until the trade deadline comes around. I don't know why Suter's on there. There we go. Cal Peterson on the block. Trade deadline's coming up here. I think we can simulate the next game against the Senders in the calendar. Let's see if that does anything. Let's get back to the calendar sims. After 3 losses in a row of not being able to score goals, let's try and wake up a little bit. The Senders have they had a winning record just by a little bit, and we just squeak out the win in the shootout. So 3-2 win the final. 29-27-6 is our record into the trade deadline here. I think we're going to have a status of buyer. No problems there. And let's enter the trade deadline. Let's see what is going on here in the world. Pasternak's still available. Of course, Ryan O'Reilly is available. If you ever want your team to win the Selke Trophy, you just pick him up. Tarasenko's on the block with 1 year left. Patrice Bergeron's on the block with 1 year left. Any other 1 year left kind of guys here? Matt Dumba, oof, on the Blue Jackets. We always wanted Matt Dumba to come home, but I don't think we have the means to make that happen. I will do my due diligence for sure, though. I'm going to go look through the goalies of the NHL and see if there's anyone on the block today who may not have been before, who maybe we could use in a backup role. Peter Mrazek, well, that's interesting. And so here is Nedel Jokovic. They both are on expiring deals. Peter Mrazek, 904 save percentage, 3.11. Nedel Jokovic, good numbers, but those are down in the AHL. Keep that in mind. Malcolm Subban has 1 year left here. Not good numbers for him. Eric Comrie, good numbers, but again, down in the AHL. It's tough to figure out whose numbers will translate to the NHL. Mike Smith, by the way, the man is 40 years old. Sheesh, 40 years old, still getting it done. Thomas Greiss, not going to take him on. Lundqvist, also 40 years old. And this is interesting. The King, eh? Henrik Lundqvist, 2 more years. I wouldn't be surprised if he just retires, though. Do we go on a cup run with Henrik Lundqvist? That is interesting. Henrik Lundqvist, they're 34, 20, and 8. Maybe they just want to shed the contract, though. He's trying to win a cup, and Edmonton gives him a chance to do so. Now, that wouldn't make sense. He wouldn't waive a no-trade clause or something to go to a team that's not guaranteed to make the playoffs when he's on a team that's doing well already. Jonathan Quick here. This is interesting. If anyone's good in the AHL, it's definitely Jonathan Quick. The man that has a 1.78 goals against average with 7 shutouts. Absolutely demolishing the AHL with this record of 38-1. He's on an expiring contract. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing in Jonathan Quick, who has great poise and knows how to do it in the playoffs, just as a backup for 1 season. We could send Cal Peterson back to the team that drafted him as well. Would not be a crazy idea. Caden Primo, this is tempting. He has the starter potential, and he's 81 overall. I think that would probably make the most sense. The man's only 23 years old. Yeah, I think that really makes a ton of sense. He has no trade value. I'd love to get Caden Primo if possible. Even Connor Ingram with starter potential doesn't have a lot of value associated to his name, and he's playing in the NHL right now, just that he is 25 years of age. Aiden Hill played 1 game this season and let in 1 goal, also an expiring deal. There are a lot of options out here. There's a lot of good options. Mostly just looking between Hill and Primo at the moment, I think. Even Gorgiev, not a lot of value on his name, 1.5 for 2 years. Numbers aren't the greatest, though. I don't think he usually sims that great, unfortunately, so I'll probably pass on him. Corpusalo, DiPietro, James Reimer. Is James Reimer here? Wait, is James Reimer here twice? Not looking for anything big. Just 1 year kind of thing here. Like a guy like James Reimer here. 1 year left, 34 years old, bad numbers. Mikko Koskinen. Good numbers for Mikko Koskinen. This is interesting. 13-5-2 with 2 shutouts, 927 save percentage. 2 years left for him. I don't know if I want someone with 2 years left because I have prospects coming up. That's another thing. I was considering they could have multiple years in their contract, but I don't know if I really want someone long term. Like if I take on Caden Primo, then what happens with my other goalie prospects, especially the ones who are coming next season? If Jerry's my starter next season, then what if Markkanen or Jones, one of those guys needs to be back in for the NHL next season probably. So I think, although it would be great and it would definitely be possible to get someone who has potential, I think I like Jonathan Quick the most. The man's on the block. He has crazy numbers in the AHL. We have the salary cap to take him on. Why not give him one last shot at the cup instead of retiring in obscurity down in with the Ontario Reign or something? We give him Cal Peterson, who has a beautiful contract. We're literally giving them a gift. It's just that he's so bad that he's not playing reflective of his abilities. So I don't know what we could squeeze out from the Kings here, a 4th and a 5th round pick or something like that. They would do it. They would do a 4th and a 5th. So let's see if we can get even more out of them. Maybe even a 3rd from the Kings. Would that be crazy? They do it. Oh, maybe they're really trying to shed that contract, eh? Could I get a 2nd round pick next? No, that would be insane. But what would they say? Very interesting. Doesn't mean our block. Okay. So a 3rd round pick. How about 2 3rd round picks? Let's really try and play as much as we can get here. A 3rd and what else? 3rd and a 4th they would do. Man, oh man. Thank you, LA. This is going to help us. Not just getting a backup goalie, we're getting picks. 3rd, a 4th, and a 7th. Let's try one more thing right here. Third, fourth, seventh. They would not do it. All right, third and a fourth with Jonathan Quick for Cal Peterson. Cal, things didn't work out here. We thought we had you on a great contract. We thought you were going to be our backup for years. But hey, off back to the LA Kings where you started your career. Jonathan Quick, welcome to the Minnesota Wild. The first time he moves teams in his NHL career. We get some picks back as well, and it is much appreciated. That is a big move for us. If it doesn't work out, we just continue rolling with Jerry, but it's good to have someone that we could trust between the pipes if need be. So any trades here? Ryan O'Reilly got traded. Lindholm and Mantha and Dumba all got traded. A few guys off the market. So we'll wait and see. Actually, I'll just might as well exit, and then we'll just look at the trade summary, since that is the last deal that we'll be making today. And a good trade deadline, a good month of February for us in the trade department. So Lindholm ended up going to the Islanders for J.G. Pajot and 2 second-round picks. That's not bad. St. Louis got a first-round pick for Tarasenko and 2/3, really. So the Kings needed to shed that cap. That makes sense. That's why they wanted him gone so badly. It all makes sense now. They got Vladimir Tarasenko with that money that they shed from the Jonathan Quick deal. They were desperate. And look at this, Ryan Ellis and Madison Bowie also going to LA. So they really needed that money free. Now it all really, really makes sense, as we got a third and a fourth out of taking out Jonathan Quick. Will Butcher going to the Anaheim Ducks for a second and a seventh. Thatcher Demko, David Perron, and a 6th-round pick going from the Sharks to the Maple Leafs for a first and a fifth. Wow. So Demko, unless he resigns, that would be a crazy deal if he did resign, but Toronto definitely trying to go on a cup run with Demko and Perron for a first-round pick. Sheesh. Chris Tanev going back to Vancouver along with James Reimer as well. Shattenkirk, Evan Rodriguez to Edmonton for a first, and Olivier Rodriguez. So Edmonton, they're trying to load up. Anthony Mantha and a third for Grubauer, a third and a fourth. That's a really good deal for the Predators for sure. Ryan O'Reilly to Tampa for a second, 2 seconds, and Bolduc. The Lindholm deal. Dumba, Hintz, and Gavrikov for a first, and Alex Bocage. Wow. Okay. Really big deals. Bjorkstrand, Edmondson, and a third for Holtby, a second, and 2 other probably draft picks. Sheesh. What a trade deadline. Actually, well, these trades were early. The Bjorkstrand one was earlier, but what a trade deadline. Big year for big moves there. The boys over at TSN were buzzing. James Duthie couldn't even take a breath. Gord, the trade breakers over on that table. You got Gord Miller just nonstop. All right. So we're 29, 27, and 6 at the moment. We have a new backup goalie. We have a new look on life, a new outlook on life with these moves. Let's try and get some games done. Let's move into the month of March and get this season over with. Let's go see the New Jersey Devils. Why not? They have a good record. Let's go see an Eastern Conference team. Let's hit it. Okay, 3-1 loss against the Arizona Coyotes. Curtis Lazar on waivers. I don't think we really need him. I'm going to go ahead and decline that. No need to make a change like that in Iowa. Mike Stone, 2 years left at 2.245. The man's a 79 overall. Not bad, but we do not need that either, as we'll just decline that. 3-2 shootout win against the Anaheim Ducks. 5-4 shootout loss against the Flames. Montreal Canadiens, we beat them 3-1. Nashville, Kevin Stenlund, a lot of waiver moves here. Kevin Stenlund, 78 overall, has top 9 potential. That's good. He has a little potential, but I'm not really interested, I don't think. I'd rather get guys from free agency whenever we need somebody. 7-3 loss, that is tough to swallow, but then a 3-1 win to bounce back. We're 32, 29, and 7 at the moment. Here we go up against the New Jersey Devils, who are 35, 23, and 9. First period, 1-0, Kirill Kaprizov and Igor Shesterkin. Okay, so Igor going from New York to New Jersey. Second period, 2-1. Kokkonen and Holtz, 2 power play goals within less than 5 minutes of each other, 4.5. Heading into the third period, we're down 2-1, shots 23-14 for the Devils. We got to get ourselves back in this game, and Kevin Fiala does just that. Thank you very much, Mr. Fiala. 2-2 game as we're getting to the midway point here in the third period. Shots 25-21 for the Devils. We're on the power play, though, late, and that one is killed off, and then Alex Holtz gets his second of the night. And now we're down by 1 late in the third. That may just be enough to crush our hopes, and it is a 3-2 loss against the Devils. Alex Holtz, the game-winning goal, 2 of them on the night. Yikes. We can't allow ourselves to drop these games. 32, 30, and 7 at the moment. Let's go up to this next game against the Flames, and let's see what is the playoff picture looking like. Oh, that's why. I forgot the trade deadline glitch. If you go into the trade deadline, after the trade deadline, it goes best lines. So everything got best lines out here. Yeah. EA, you kill me. Better not miss the playoffs because of like 2 points because of a loss here. EA, you kill me, man. Alright, time to fix all the lines. Everything. Power play, penalty kill, and all that stuff. And then we'll take a look at the playoff picture once I spend 15 minutes doing that in the NHL and the AHL. Thank you, EA. Alright, that's all done. Thanks, EA, for all the extra work. Always love a couple extra headaches in my life. No problem. So, as we said, we want to see the playoff picture. At the moment, we are in a wild card spot, it seems like, but I'm sure there's a lot of other teams snapping at our heels. So, in the entire league, well, actually, just the Western Conference, actually, is what we're really concerned with. We have, so one team tied with us, another team 4 points within us, another team 5 points within our reach, Predators 6 points within our reach, Flames 6 points within our reach, Blues 10 points. So it's really just Calgary, Nashville, San Jose, Winnipeg, Vancouver, Minnesota, Arizona, pretty much just all fighting for the the 2 wild card spots. Definitely nothing guaranteed for anyone at the moment. Even LA, after the top 5 is probably a guarantee, but from 6 to 13, 6 to 13 is anyone's game in those 2 categories. So what can we improve on, if anything? We're scoring a lot. We're still letting in a bit too much. I'm sure that number's gone down since the deadline. Power play at 18.7% is not ideal, as it puts us near the top 10, which isn't bad, but you'd always want it to be a little bit better than that. But you know, I shouldn't be complaining too much. More the penalty kill, which is like at 79. Yeah, it's gotten better. I think it was in the top 5. Now it's top 7 for the worst in the league. Top 6, that is, sorry. So 97.6 could be better, but I don't really see how it could be how we could make it any better, because we already have our best players playing there, and we could get a +1, but would I rather have an 85 with a 0 or an 80 with a +1 with Josh Lievo? So I don't think there's really much to do. Hopefully the line changes that we fixed up after the trade deadline is enough to get us back in here. The 7-3 loss, I don't think that would have happened, stuff like that, if the lines had been how they were with the +5 on the first pair and all that good stuff. So let's try and go redeem ourselves against Nashville again next week, which will be 2 weeks after the last time we played them. 4-1 win against the Calgary Flames, 7-0 shutout against the New York Rangers, and then a 3-2 shootout loss against the Blues. There we go. 34-30-8 is our record against a team that is within reach of the wild card. They do have a losing record, but we just want to bury them as far as we can, so let's do it. First period, 0-0. Second period, 1-0 Nashville. Luke Kunin, former Minnesota Wild. We are now down 1-0. Shots 21-19 for the Predators heading into the third period. Who is going to be our hero to tie this up? It is Torrey Krug, back on the first defensive pair with the +5. That is where he thrives. That's where he wants to be. He beats Corey Crawford to tie this game up at 1. Under 5 minutes to go now. It is still a tie game. I would love to just be able to push it to overtime at the very least, and we will. Shots tied 31-31, headed into the extra frame here, as we have not had good luck in the shootout. Let's hope for some good this time, and we do not win as usual. It is Eli Tolvanen, franchise mode legend, who will beat Tristan Jarry to get the winning goal, and we lose that one 2-1, but at least we do get a point, and they are a bit further down, so I'd rather them get a point than other teams that are closer to us. So I have a back-to-back here against Dallas, play San Jose, Edmonton. Let's go see the LA Kings. Jonathan Quick can play against his old team, and it's a team that's close to us in the standings as well. Home and home against the Stars, we go 3-2 win and 3-2 win. Wonderful. Cody Ceci is on waivers here, 79 overall, 1 year left at 1.4. He's not bad, 29 years of age, 79 overall, not bad at all. He fits the top 4D, all power play lines. Would this be crazy to pick up Cody Ceci? 6 games for Edmonton this year, did nothing. In Bakersfield, 43 points in 68 games. You know what? Why not? Cody Ceci, get over here. Why not? I got nothing against Cody Ceci. Bit of a meme here and there in the real world, but here he seems to simulate all right. So Giroux is back in the lineup as he's healthy in Iowa. We can put him there. And then on defense, I might as well take out Sarajärvi, who doesn't really do much for us, and put in Cody Ceci, who's a 79. Gives us a +1 on that pair. Why not? With Ryan O'Rourke, get him to grow a little bit. I'll take that. No problem there. And +1, +3. Okay, no problem. Sorry, RV. See you later. San Jose Sharks, we beat them 4-3 in the shootout. Nice, rare shootout victory. 5-1 loss against a very good Edmonton Weather team. And a 6-5 win, a big one, against our division rivals, the Chicago Blackhawks. So they are, by the way, 48-26-4. So that's a big win. We're 38-31-9 up against the 38-36-5 LA Kings. Man, do I want to put Quick in for this one? I don't think so. Whoever's starting can just get the start if it's auto-rotate or not. But if Tristan Jarry's there, I wouldn't mind him either. First period, 2-1. Yeah, Tristan Jarry's in nets. Taylor Hall and Quinton Byfield scoring for the Kings. Mikhail Sergachev for us, up against Cal Peterson, of course. Come on, let's just shred Cal. I love you, Cal. I loved you with a D on the end. Let's just shred him to pieces now. Let's show LA what it means to have a goaltender with an .850 save percentage. Second period, and they show us what it means to have a goalie with an .850 save percentage. Kupari, Anderson, Dolan, Kopitar, and Tarasenko. What? 6-1 with 4 goals in that period. And you want to put some defense on that right side, maybe? On the left of Jarry? Sheesh. 6-1. Shots 20-15. Okay, we'll probably take the L on this one. Down by 5 in the third. Power play. No, yeah, here's Cal Peterson standing on his head. Josh Lievo, fourth line. Chips one in. Okay. Down by 4 with 10 minutes to go, and Kempe makes it 7-2. All right, 8-3 the final. Boldy gets one for us. Turcotte in the power play against Quick. Man, both goalies fell apart. Yikes, what happened in this one? Quick with a 750 and Jarry with a 688. Nice. Okay, so that's going to be bad for the year-end stats when we look at how these guys did once they came over here with a couple bad games like the 8-3 loss and the 7-3 loss. But for the most part, they're doing well. Just the last 3 games, we let in 5, 5, and 8 in the last 3 games, which is not ideal. Now we're going to go up and take on the Colorado Avalanche. That's why I don't know if Tristan Jarry is our long-term answer. He's playing well, but I don't know. Is he the guy that we signed to a 5-year contract kind of guy, or do we just wait for free agency? Because once again, if we go back to look at the expiring deal here, he would be looking for something like 4 years at 7.3, which is not what I want to do. Jonathan Quick also wants an extension, 2 years at 0.8. Yeah, we'll see about that, Jonathan. I don't know. You're not playing too hot either. Let's take another look at the playoff picture. So we're currently holding on to the first wildcard spot, which is nice. LA right behind us at 83. That's a big L that we took against them. Vancouver 81, San Jose 80. I think Nashville's out of the picture. So now it's pretty much just 4 teams, even Arizona, so 5 teams fighting for the last 3 spots. I'd rather take those odds than what we were fighting against earlier. So 5 teams, 3 spots. We're holding spot number 2 of 3 here. Odds are good, but we want to just keep playing our strongest. Don't take your foot off the gas for a moment, boys. Let's do it. We're back at home against the 47-24-8 Avalanche. They shut us out last time, right? Unless there was another game since then. You say Saros for that shutout. Let's do it. Game number 80 on the season. First period, that is exactly what we needed. There is the fire lit underneath us, and it's Mike Hoffman scoring twice in the period, Elias Lindholm with 1, and Kirill Kaprizov with the other. Look at Hoffman getting dirty in the crease right there, making it happen just 5 minutes into the game. 4-0 after the first. Second period, 6-2. Werner's in nets now. Mike Hoffman gets a power play, gets a hat trick on the power play less than 4 minutes into the period. Zach Parise adds another, but then Newhook and McKinnon say, hey, we want to get in on this too. They say, that's okay, we're still up by 4. You guys can come to the party as well. I think we can hold on to the 4-goal lead here with 20 minutes to play. Now 15 to go. Power play Avalanche. It's an extended one, but we kill it off. Shots 28-21, more than halfway through the third now. Still hanging on to the 4-goal lead, and I think that is exactly what we needed. After letting in way too many goals the last few games, that is a huge victory by a margin of 4 goals over the Avalanche. 6 in total. A hat trick for Hoffman, 4 assists for Torrey Krug. You love to see that. And Tristan Jarry making 29 saves to show us why we traded for him. 6-2 victory with 2 games left in the season, and we have clinched the playoffs with that victory. That is huge. There must have been some other losses to the teams that were right behind us. So at the very least, we have a wild card spot. I don't know if we'll get a divisional spot. If we look here at the conference, we do have a divisional spot at the moment. I don't know if the Kings can catch up to the Kings. In theory, could catch up to us, but I think that we may have a division. Oh, sorry, this is a wild card spot. We could pass the Coyotes for the divisional spot, but okay, all right. So things were looking a little shaky to start the season, but we make the playoffs, and that is exactly what we're going for. We turned things around here in Minnesota. Up against the Anaheim Ducks, we're 25, 47, and 8. Carson Soucy, mild concussion. That's not good heading into the playoffs, but it is good that we can just slot in Capobianco right there without any issues. He'll play with Johnson, gives it a 0, no problem. Against the Ducks, we lose 2-1. That makes a lot of sense. Let's try and get a win here against the St. Louis Blues to end off the season on a high note. I'm going to put Jonathan Quick in nets. No reason to try and risk the health of Tristan Jarry. So let's just close out the season with Quick between the pipes. Let's try and get 40 wins here, boys. Come on. To close out season number 3 on a high note. We're 5-3-2 in our last 10. Let's go. Come on. First period, 0-0. Second period, 3-1. Wonderful. Mike Hoffman scores 1. Braden Schenn comes right back to tie it up. But then Josh Lievo scores 2 goals in 9 minutes. Probably on 2 shifts right there. The fourth line does not play too much, and that is a 3-1 lead. Headed into the third period, shots 18-10. Mike Hoffman, man. Rob Thomas. Ooh, Rob Thomas brings them within 1. Really happy for Mike Hoffman finding his form after we buried him in the AHL, but then he found his way back onto the team. Kevin Fiala restores the 2-goal lead against David Riddick and the Blues here. Shots are 24-13, but Klim Kostin just made it 4-3. Whoa, Jonathan Quick. Let's calm it down here. Your save percentage was otherworldly in the AHL, and Jason Spezza. He's still alive. The ghost of Jason Spezza, with 26 seconds left in this game, ties it up at 4. Shots 29-18. You know what? To end off the season, let's go check it out. Suter up to Parise, back the other way. It's a 2-on-2 rush, going horizontally along. Oh, what a move from Parise, showing those soft hands, one-timer in the slot from the captain, and it's swallowed up by Riddick. Oh, wow. Hands of Ovechkin as Zach Parise turns back the clock for that move. Shots 33-23 through the 65 minutes of play. Let's see if we can end it here. Not sure who else scored, but let's see if we can get it done tonight. Nice Ontario Reign helmet for Jonathan Quick. Here we go. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins coming in on Quick. He's had a lot of shootouts in his career, but the first shot that he faces is a goal. Great job. Coming way out of the crease and getting sniped. All right, Kirill Kaprizov, the best shooter on the team. I believe has over 40 goals this season. Kirill Kaprizov gives himself a terrible angle, and it's an easy save for Riddick. Here comes Braden Schenn now for the Blues to put them up by 2, and that's an easy save for Quick as he will take that backhand gladly. Now here comes Zach Parise. He's had a lot of shootouts in his career, and once again does the exact same thing as Kaprizov. Gives himself a terrible angle, goes like at a 0-degree plane, and then shoots right onto the Riddick. That's cool. And now here he is for the win. It is Klim Kostin. I don't know what permutation, how he goes by, but for the win, and it's a nice pad save for Quick. And now needing to score, I believe it's going to be Mike Hoffman. Skip through all this garbage, and here he comes. It's Sean Monahan with the A on his sweater, and it's a stop for Riddick, and that'll be 1 point for the Wild, as it is a shootout loss in game number 82. You hate to see that. Terrible shootout attempts, and hopefully that would still give us that first wild card spot, but it is not going to be a 40-win season. And with that shootout loss, we end up going 39, 33, and 10 on the season. 10 overtime losses. I think like 8 or 9 of them coming in the shootout. So that's never really fun right there. I believe every team has played 82 games. Yes. That would allow us to go check out the league stats as well as the team standings. So in the Western Conference picture, despite having only the 39 wins, we did get that first wild card spot. It was a close one for the most part here, as San Jose and Vancouver were both in the hunt for that for the second wild card spot with LA. But the 10 overtime losses gave us enough points to boost us up, despite having one less win than LA. So it was a semi-comfortable run into the playoffs, and the last little stretch there wasn't a big battle. In the entire NHL, we squeaked into one of the last spots here overall. There were some Eastern Conference teams that didn't make it. We were in 18th place. Meanwhile, you have the 14th place Ottawa Senators with 92 points that did not make it. Since the last time we looked, our goals for went up and our goals against went down. Still imbalanced at 3.02 versus 3.04, but for the most part, we can work with that. that. Power play ended up going up to 20%, which is nice. Converting 1 in 5 chances is definitely good for a power play. And for the penalty kill, it did go up. As last time we looked, it was at 79 point something. Now we're at 80.7%. Still closer to the bottom than the top, but I'll take 80.7 over 78 or anything like that. Still, you'd want to improve it a little bit more. But I don't know, is that something we could work on? Like we said, we already have our best players playing out there. Now, looking at the stats for the team, it was a weird season. No one really blew up. No one really excelled crazy to a really high level. Monahan had 49 assists and 64 points after last season having as many assists as he had points pretty much with 63 assists. So 15 goals, 49 assists. 64 points is our point leader for year number 3. Kirill Kaprizov scoring 41 goals and 60 points here in his 3rd NHL season. Better than his rookie season, but not as good as last year as he scored 56 with 91 points. So another down year for him as well, but I guess it's down years for everybody here. 41 goals, still nothing to sneeze at, to say the least. You know, we're not trying to put him down for scoring 41 goals, but just not what we thought that we would see again from him. Elias Lindholm, 15 goals and 38 assists for 53 points. Torrey Krug also with 53 points, tied with Lindholm for 3rd in team scoring. What did Torrey do since he came here? Wow. 30 games, 6 goals, 20 assists, 26 points, and a plus 26. Only 5 penalty minutes. The man was exactly what we needed for that plus minus on defense. What a great plus minus. Plus 26. Still -3 overall because of his time in St. Louis, but I am very happy to see that. And 26 points in 30 games for a defenseman. Let's go. Ryan Suter was the beneficiary of that as well in that first pair with the +5. 12 goals, 37 assists, and 49 points for the 38-year-old captain. That is better than last season, yeah, and better than we've had in the entire simulation, actually. And his best since 2017-18. So great year from him, +32 as well. So very nice in that top pair. Jordan Greenway, we wanted a big year from him in terms of growth. He still had an 83. He did have a good season, mostly playing on the second line. It was a career high in terms of goals, assists, and points. So that's great. But I really wanted this year to be a big season for him. And in terms relatively to his career, it was a big year, but I would have wanted it to be even more. Hopefully he does get growth over the offseason because I really want him to become that top 6 power forward guy and not just someone who's going to be stuck at an 82, 83. Marco Rossi in his rookie season put up 15 goals and 33 assists, 48 points, and a +3, not bad at all. Rookie season, nothing to sneeze at, 48 points. He had just scored 58 in Iowa, so that's a good transition into some NHL numbers. The man is growing very nicely. He has 94 durability, 93 passing, very nice stats. Face-offs, we're working on those down at 77. So good stuff from the rookie season of Marco Rossi. Mikhail Sergachev here, 48 points for him. Not as high as last season. Yeah, just 2 points off of last season, so not bad at all. Better plus-minus than last season. Same amount of penalty minutes. Good year from him. Just as a two-way D, even though he has the chemistry as a two-way D, it doesn't really always help, but hopefully we can get someone who works really well with him. So I'd rather have him on the first pair than the second pair, but we'll see what happens in the future. Zach Parise, down year from him. Still good for the age of 38. He's down to top 9 potential as well. 18 goals and 29 assists for 47 points in 78 games. Definitely off what he got in the last couple seasons with us, as he's down to the kind of numbers that he was having before we took the reins here in Minnesota. Wasn't always playing first line, but still 47 and 78. I guess to a certain point you have to accept it that he's getting older, but his overall is still there and the chemistry was good, just that it wasn't a +3 on the first line, so I guess that's what hurt him. But he was still playing 18-22 a night. I guess I'm just really hoping that the 87 poise comes through here in the playoffs, because last couple years in the playoffs, I think he's always been good. Yeah, he had 19 and 24 and then 6 and 7, so I'm looking forward to him catching that playoff magic. Kevin Fiala, just like Jordan Greenway, we were looking for a big season in terms of growth from him. 15 goals, 29 assists. Again, you know, that's as many points as he got last season when he was playing the third line. Last season he was averaging, it's only 10 seconds more a night, so it's not much of a difference, I guess. He was bouncing between the second and the third line for most of the season. 44-point year from him. Another guy who I'd really want to get growing because he has a good first line chemistry fit. He's a sniper. I'm really hoping that he would have some growth over the offseason because we still have him at 4 more years at 3.7. I'd like him to be a part of this team long-term moving forward. Matthew Boldy was second in team goals with 25 in his rookie season, 41 points as well, so a very nice rookie season from him as he is now 22 years of age. -5, 51 penalty minutes. But, the man scored 25. We on a team that really needed goals, where you have Lindholm scoring only 15, Monahan 15, so I will take those 25 with a big smile on my face. Now, here comes Mike Hoffman. Only played 52 games because he was in the AHL. We thought that he wasn't going to crack the lineup. Nino Niederreiter didn't work out. He came in. 27 goals and 39 points in 52 games. Over the course of an 82-game season, that would be on pace for 42 or 43 goals and 61 or 62 points. So looking at the numbers back in that first season where we had him, where he scored 30 goals and 63 points, look at this. The guy scored 30 goals in 82 games, and now he's just 3 goals shy of that, 27 in 52. He could have broken 40 this season, so he was on pace to be our top goal scorer. Mike Hoffman, we signed him in year number 1 to give him a 1-year deal, just a prove it to me kind of deal. He proved it to us. We signed him for 3 years after that. Came back, was absolutely garbage. Was a shameful excuse of a player in the playoffs. -5 and 2 points after having a crazy season, after having not so good of a season. Sent him down to Iowa, 21 points in 27 games. We had to call him up when we had lineup issues, and he was shooting 19%. Look at that. So I'm very happy to see that he's rekindled some of that magic. 27 goals in 52 games and 39 points. A big reason that we were able to make a push for the playoffs. That +3 on the second line chemistry was pretty big as well. We still have him signed for 1 more year, so we were trying to trade him for like a 7th round pick. No one wanted him, and now he ends up being our savior. So, I'll take it. I'm sorry about that, Mike. Josh Lievo down on that 4th line. Finally got to play a full season with us after we made that trade for him from the Monahan deal. Then we lost him. We signed him in free agency. 22 points in 75 games. Not bad at all for a 4th liner, as that is an NHL career high. I believe that is NHL career high for him, putting up 22 points as a 4th liner. Only 5 goals, but he was dishing the puck out there. Ryan Murray, 22 points in 82 games, a +8, a very steady defenseman, as always. Kiefer Sherwood, 10 goals and 19 points down on the 4th line as well, 8.5 minutes a night. The 4th line came through, 22, 19, and Gauthier had 14. 5 goals, 9 assists. The guy is just a defensive two-way forward, and that's what we wanted. -2, not great, but 4th line came through. No issues there. Eric Johnson, we acquired him earlier in the season. He played 34 games for us. He scored 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points, and was a -6. Does not bode super well, but again, hopefully that playoffs will bring out some of that 85 poise. The former first overall pick in 2006 has one last shot at the cup, perhaps, now at the age of 35. Carson Soucy, he came back home to Minnesota from the Bruins, played 29 games, got 2 assists, and was a -9. Yikes. So maybe the 3rd pair D is something that we look at. Maybe Capobianco comes in for Soucy or Johnson. Not sure about that, because Capobianco, -5, okay. 4 points in 45 games, not bad at all, but I don't know, maybe he fits better on the 3rd pair. Alex Steen played 7 games as a depth forward for us, had 2 points throughout those 7 games. Now looking at the goaltenders, here is what we're excited about. We overhauled the starting tandem, and now we are rolling with Jarry and Quick. Tristan Jarry, let's see it. Since he came to Minnesota, 28 games played, a record of 16, 8, and 2, 1 shutout, a .924 save percentage, and a 2.25 goals against average. I don't know if Jarry's going to be our goalie long term. I don't know if we're signing him or just letting him go to free agency, but we wanted to make the playoffs, and he got us to the playoffs, and he's played lights out for the most part. So very happy to have Tristan Jarry between the pipes. And even though Elvis was signed long-term, he wasn't going to be the long-term answer for us, it seems. So whether we moved him on July 1st and signed someone in free agency, or just moved him now and got Jarry instead for the end of the season, I'm much happier with this arrangement. Jonathan Quick, yikes. 5 games, 1-1-2, an .814 save percentage, and a 4.83 goals against average. What in the world? The man was putting up otherworldly numbers in the AHL. And then, of course, they're not going to be exactly the same in the NHL, but .814 save percentage through 5 games? That's twisted. That's really twisted. Hopefully he won't have to play a single second in the playoffs. But again, if he does, I'm more confident that he'll play well in the playoffs than in the regular season. My goodness. Now let's check out some of the guys we traded away in this episode, or even at previous times throughout the series. Elvis Merzlikins over on the Bruins now. Yeah, of course, he had a great record. Still bad numbers, though. 12-5-2 in 20 games with 1 shutout, 892 save percentage, and a 3.02 goals against average. Still not great. Just not simulating super well after we originally got him from Columbus, and he had a good season. So, yeah, just good luck in Boston, I guess, Elvis. Mikko Koivu, by the way, still on the Bruins at the age of 40. Just put up 51 points. He's still an 83 overall. I don't know how he's keeping that overall. He still has top 6 potential, that's why. Sam Bennett, a former player of ours, he played all 82 games, and he's put up 38 points for the Bruins. Good for him, still at an 82 overall. We moved Batty Boat to the Vegas Golden Knights for their goalie prospect. They ended up calling him up, and he went 5-2-0 with a 900 save percentage and 2.98 goals against average. That's really weird. I'm not sure why they'd call him up, but they left their other stud prospect in the minors. He was 1-2-0 with us in Iowa, so boop. Now over on the St. Louis Blues, Nino Niederreiter, we sent him in the Torrey Krug deal. He ended up playing 29 games, scored 6 goals, 9 assists, and 15 points. Pretty much what he was doing with us. Not great numbers. In season totals, it's only 29 points and 10 goals over the course of 63 games. Jason Spezza is still alive, as we were saying earlier in the episode. And as well, they also had Calvin DeHaan, offensive defenseman. Let me guess, he had crazy numbers. Yeah, 7 points, as many as he put up in 52 games with us. Does it in 29 games with them, and was a +2. In the entire NHL, Evgeny Malkin on the Chicago Blackhawks puts up 48 goals and 102 points at the age of 36. The man is a simulating monster, and that is just insane. So great Art Ross season from him. Probably a Hart season as well. Kane right behind him. No question why. 94 points from him. Austin Matthews puts up 55 goals, which will win him the Maurice Richard. Sagan had 52, not far behind him. McDavid 93, Scheifele 89, Crosby. Jack Hughes up at 86 points, up to a 90 overall. I'm not sure if he's going to reach that quickly in the real world. But here are all the top scorers for this season. Ilya Mikheyev, what? 84 overall, puts up 17 goals and 53 assists for 70 points. All right. Defenseman in the NHL, as usual, John Carlson leading the way in points with 78 in 82. Torrey Krug down here at 53. Give him a full season with that top pair. I wouldn't be surprised if he was in the mid-60 range. And for all goalies here in the NHL, Freddie Anderson with 42 wins led the way, but Tristan Jarry tied for the second most wins with 41. Carey Price having a fantastic record, 40-24-6 with 7 shutouts, 921 save percentage, 2.4 goals against average. If I'm looking at the Vezina race here, I'd say it's probably between Bishop, Leonard, and Jarry. I don't know if Anderson's wins will push him a little bit or if the save percentage hurts him, but Leonard had 10 shutouts. I'd probably give it to Leonard or Bishop. Jarry might get a nomination, but I'd probably give Price the other nomination before Jarry. Even Carter Hart at a 918 and 2.34 with 7 shutouts. Yeah, a lot of good goaltending here in the NHL this season for sure. And in rookie skaters, it was Josh Cousineau who led the NHL with 34 goals and 55 points in 72 games. Connor Zary was in second and Marco Rossi in third. Probably getting him a nomination, but I think Cousineau will take it. Higher than Tim Stützle, so, Marco Rossi, take a bow. The man who a lot of teams passed on in the 2020 draft. So that's just about it for NHL points. Just quickly checking in on Iowa, even though their season is not done yet. Kovanov, 47 and 73. Shaw, 46 and 73. Just looking at the guys who we want to be growing with chemistry. Addison, 37 and 73 for the offensive defenseman. Mika Tarki in his rookie season here, 33 points in 66 games at the age of 18. And then down to Ryan O'Rourke, 13 points in 44 games. He was also a second-round pick in 2020. And then Leon Botter, in 25 games, he scored 7 points and was a +6 with 32 penalty minutes. Feel bad for the guy, but I don't know, man. I don't know what we're going to do with Leon Botter. Cody Ceci, 4 points in 6 games since we claimed him. Nice. Goalies here, Hunter Jones ended up going 27, 21, and 5 with 6 shutouts. Great numbers. And then look at Juho Markkanen. Since he came to Iowa especially, let's see, did he keep up those same numbers? Even better. What? 13, 4, and 1 with 4 shutouts, a 933 save percentage, and a 1.67 goals against average. Sheesh. Goaltending is insane in Iowa. And I'm sure that translates, yeah, 41, 26, and 6, the record thus far. So with all that looked at, we can now advance to see who our opponent will be in round number 1 of the year number 3 playoffs, and it will be up against the Edmonton Oilers. So in the West over here, it's Edmonton, Minnesota, Vegas, Arizona, Chicago, LA, and Colorado, Dallas. Oilers went 45, 25, and 12 on the season. Of course, led by Connor McDavid at 96 overall. Leon Draisaitl also at a 96 overall. Kind of drops off after that in terms of the entire team. Of course, you have Kahun and Yamamoto, but then every other forward is like 81 or 80. You have Evan Rodriguez at 82. Joe Thornton, 43 years old. Jumbo Joe, here he is. 43 years old, 80 overall. And for some reason, Evan Rodriguez with 75 faceoffs is at the center. Zach Kassian, James Neal, Josh Hosang, and Rasmus Asplund, Tyler Benson as well, Wayne Train. So after the first line, even the second line, Draisaitl carries it, but the bottom 6, not great. Defense, Nurse, Manson, Bouchard, Clefbaum, Nudivara, and Bear. Yeah, this is a very solid defensive core. I got to give it to them right there. And I think it's Ilya Sorokin. Yeah, Ilya Sorokin between the pipes, 84 overall. Not great in the playoffs, I guess. His numbers weren't great last season, no. But regular season, he did well. And they're backed up by the king, 41-year-old Henrik Lundqvist, who we were looking into getting at the deadline. But, of course, makes sense they wanted to hang on to him. Healthy scratches, they have Bobby Ryan, Kevin Shattenkirk, and Jesse Puljujärvi. Wow. Buffalo Sabres legend in NHL 20. So those are 3 good scratches, especially for the playoffs, Bobby Ryan. Very good scratches. So they have the depth and they have the star power, but it's that middle section that I'm not too sold on, especially their bottom 6. So we'll see what happens here, but they will be our opponents in round number 1 of year number 3. Year number 1, Stanley Cup. Year number 2, we lost in the first round, and we are coming back with a vengeance in year number 3. So here's the lineup at the moment heading into the playoffs. Parise's down to an 84. Rossi's up to an 83. I don't think any other overalls have changed since the last time we looked. No. Capobianco at 79, by the way. He has been doing a lot of playing time. Susi didn't play as much as he could have been since it's because of the injury. Don't know why Jonathan Quick is starting. Good thing we're here. Tristan Jarry's going to be the starting goalie. Special teams, we were talking a bit about the penalty kill. Of course. Capobianco, of course, when he came in for the injury, I didn't realize that he would give it a -2. But I don't know if I can put anybody else in here. I guess Krug could go here. It still gives it a -2 because he's an offensive defenseman. Johnson, and then, yeah, it gives it a 0. Okay, I'll take the 0-0 instead of the +1, -2. But as soon as Susi comes back, it'll be back to normal. So I guess that was probably hurting the penalty kill a little bit, even though Susi hasn't been out for long. So that is a wrap on the year number 3 regular season here in Minnesota. Since we made all those deals back on this game against the Flyers, we ended up going 17-9-4 to the end of the season. Not a crazy amazing record, but much better than our record earlier when we were like, I think we were 22-24-5 at the beginning of the episode. So from under 500 near the bottom of the NHL around February, we stormed back to make the playoffs with 17 wins over the final 30 games. The 4 shootout losses were a bit of a hit, but still, only 9 regulation losses over the last 30 games. That's the bigger part to look at. Only 9 regulation losses in the last 30 games. So the defense was a big help. The goaltending was a huge help, as we saw with Tristan Jarry. And that is just about it heading into the playoffs here. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are enjoying your holiday season. Of course, as I mentioned, uploads a little bit more sporadic over the end of December here, but looking to get back into the swing of things once the new year comes around. Back into MLB franchise and continuing with the live streams and all that good stuff. Make sure that you're connected with the channel down in the description. Check out the Discord server for all the updates on the channel, the Twitter page, the link for the Twitch channel, and all that good stuff. Let me know any of your suggestions heading into the playoffs concerning the lineup or possibly any contract extensions, as we'll be getting close to the off season, even though we don't need to look at that just yet. If we're looking at all expiring, we do have a few players, no really big names, maybe Susi, who wouldn't be wanting too much money. It's really more Tristan Jarry that we're looking at, who at the moment is still wanting close to, and he doesn't want to sign, so that would be $7.5 million. I don't have that kind of money. Or even if I do, I don't want to spend it. Maybe we just go and look at the possible free agents once free agency comes around, or even Jerry, we get him in free agency. So, hey, once again, thank you so much for watching. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you are. And I'm very excited to head into the playoffs here with the Minnesota Wild as we will look to capture our second Stanley Cup in our third year at the wheel.